What's up, YouTube fam? I go by the name of Focused One, and welcome to my channel. So today I want to go over 3 core values of this channel, so stay tuned. The first one would be go against your self-limiting beliefs. Now you see, right now there's a psychological baggage that you carry around that burdens you mentally, is weighing you down, and is stopping you from achieving whatever you're in pursuit of. You see, it's not serving you any purpose. In fact, it's actually preventing you from achieving your desired goals. Now, what's this baggage that you carry around that is doing all this negative, that's impeding your progress? And that's your self-limiting beliefs. You see, these are beliefs that you have developed in your formative years when you were young and naive in response to a painful experience. And most of the times it served you because it protected you from painful experiences, right? It protected you from future pain. So it served you something when you were young. But you've chosen that to be part of your identity, and you carry it around as a grown-up now that it's hard for you to even try new experiences because that belief is what's holding you back. Now that we've already developed what the problem is, we've already established that the problem is a self-limiting belief that almost all of us have, how are we supposed to remedy this? How are we supposed to fix this? You see, an example of a self-limiting belief is a fixed mindset. Now, what is a fixed mindset? A fixed mindset is basically holding or committing to one attitude of mind about a particular thing. You see? And then you start to develop bias against anything that's opposing to that particular thing. That's a fixed mindset. So now that we've already established what the problems are, how are we supposed to fix it? How are we supposed to remedy this? Now the first step would be to trade or change your fixed mindset to growth mindset. Now growth mindset is basically the opposite of fixed mindset, right? Well, fixed mindset was kind of like committing to one attitude of mind. Growth mindset is always trying to be curious and open to other attitudes of minds or other ideas and experiences, right? It's almost kind of like working against your biases and interests in search of maybe like an objective truth. You know what I mean? I don't want to get philosophical in this, but if you're a person who is in search of the truth, then it's always good to question why you believe what you believe. If whatever you believe is serving you, then okay, stick with it. If it's not serving you, or it's not serving you to get to the goal that you're trying to get to, then I feel like it's only fair for you to be able to find a better and efficient belief that's going to get you where you're going. You know what I mean? Okay, now that we've already talked about the first solution for self-limiting beliefs, which is adopting or developing a growth mindset, the second one would be to have supportive beliefs, meaning that instead of having a belief that limits you, you change that into a belief that serves you or encourages you or motivates you, right? You want to believe that is feeding your morale. You don't want to believe that's chipping away from your morale. You know what I mean? So what you need to do is basically have a supportive belief while you become indifferent and just disregard the limiting beliefs. You basically take the power away from these limiting beliefs and you give it to your supportive beliefs. It's going to take a few times, it's going to take a few trials, you're going to fail, but on the way you're just going to figure out what works for you, and that's exactly what this whole concept of making supportive beliefs, just turning your limiting beliefs into supportive beliefs is all about. So I hope you figure it out for yourself, and I'm rooting for you, so do the same for yourself. The next core value of this channel is change your scarcity mindset into abundance mindset. Now, what is scarcity mindset? Scarcity mindset is basically like nothing is ever enough for you. Like there's always something that's missing, right? Well, I would have done X, I would have done Y, but I don't have what's necessary for me to do that. You know what I mean? Like there's always something missing. You're always like kind of feeling like you don't have the tools that's necessary for you to make that next move, right? And this is an entitlement, because what you're saying is that you don't have the skill to use the resources you have right now efficiently, but somehow you feel entitled that you earned or that you should have more, right? I'll give you an analogy, right? Example, let's say you don't have the skill to manage $100, but what you're saying is you deserve 1,000. Come on, bro, like, it makes no sense. You know what I mean? Like, so everything you need by law, right? By law of nature, basically, where you are right now in life, for you to make that next step, right? We're not talking about like the best version of yourself, we're just talking about like along the path of progression, wherever you are right now, there's an improved version of that, right? The next step. What we're talking about is basically like that next step. Everything that you have right now, this current version of you, by law, you should already have the tools necessary for that, for you to make that next move. You should have it. It's just that you're not looking at the right places, right? What you're saying is everything that I have is not enough. Something's missing. I can't make that next move because you're fixated on that, like, like a version that's like way far from where you are right now. And what we're saying is we need to just change that vision. Just focus on the next step because you already got what you got. You know what I mean? So use the resources you have efficiently by, first of all, being able to identify the ones that are necessary for you to make that next move, right? And what that turns you into a person that is like grateful and a person that is like, resourceful. What you're saying right now is that I don't need what I have. What I have is not enough. I don't even like this. You're being ungrateful right now. You're being entitled because we're saying you should be there. Along the path of progression, I should be there. Hey, I don't like this. This is not me. You know what I mean? Like, it's very ungratefulness. You're showing your character right now shows ungratefulness and entitlement, and that's two things that you don't want to have a combination of. You know what I mean? So let's talk about the fix it. How to fix this problem? Now that we've already assigned the issue, which is having what are we talking about? Having a scarcity mindset. How do we fix that? Like, how do we turn that scarcity mindset into abundance mindset? Because that's the answer, right? I want you to develop an abundance mindset. An abundance mindset is basically like, as like saying, I already got everything that I need. I already got it, right? As like you behave as if you already have enough that you actually give. You're basically saying, I have enough that I got enough to go around that I'm willing to give away. But in actuality, you don't actually even have much, right? I want you to give, especially when you're short, right? I know it's counterintuitive, but it works. Because when you give what you're saying, like you give your time, your money, your, like your skill, your, educate, like you give something for free without expectation of like anything coming back to you. What you're saying is, by nature, you're basically saying, I'm giving because I have enough. And that works because it turns you into a grateful person. Because when you're giving, it means you're content with what you already have in possession, right? I want you to stop behaving as if you already have whatever that best version of yourself, whatever they have. I want you to behave as if you already have that, right? And I want you to act like it. So whatever, if your pocket is short, you act like, oh, you got enough, oh yeah, I got that, don't worry about it. You understand? You see someone that need help, you help that. You don't question it because, I believe, personally, I'm speaking from anecdotal experiences. Like personally, I believe money has no owners, just spenders. But I actually do believe that money has no owners. I just feel like it just changes hands, it changes possession, right? When I say money, I'm talking about resources, sustenance, anything that's similar to that, right? Anything that's like an asset that you can actually leverage. Bro, this sounds like I'm saying, I ain't trying to get philosophical, but what I'm saying is, right, like you don't actually own your time. You don't actually own your money. It's just in your possession at a specific moment, right? And then when you kind of give it away, you're just kind of almost inviting another one to come your way. It's like a cycle. You have to give before you get. It works. I don't know, bro. It sounds like, bro, I sound like a white girl on TikTok talking about manifestations and words of affirmation. But you know what I mean? So yeah, I want you to work on that, and especially, so like I was saying, this triggers like a feeling of contentment, right? And you become a grateful person, and that kind of triggers, and it invites blessing into your life. So try it out. Let's see how it works. The third core value that I want to talk about in this video is going to be that transformative change happens at the level of identity. First, we need to be able to define what identity is, right? You have assigned yourself with a set of traits and characters and aligned yourself with a set of rules, principles, and values, and you have chosen those to be the front-facing representation of yourself. What you've basically done is that you have branded yourself, you've placed labels on yourself, and you've chosen that to be your identity, right? And this circle of labels that you have chosen, the things that you care about, becomes your identity, and anything outside of that circle happens to be something that you're not familiar with or something that you don't care about. So what happens is, on your pursuit to self-improvement, whenever you step out of that circle of identity, what happens is that you're going to be confronted by resistance, right? Whenever you go out of that circle, you feel like you're not being yourself, right? And that's what we talk about. That's the things that we call imposter syndrome, if I'm not mistaken. Is when you feel like you're being fake or you're out of your depth and you feel like, oh, this is not me, so you go back seeking comfort and you go back to your own circle, right? So now the circle of identity that you have created yourself starts to limit you. It starts to become a restriction that you've placed on yourself. So in your pursuit to self-improvement, how are you supposed to remedy this, right? Along the path of progression, there's a current version that you are right now, and then there's an improved version that's adjacent to the current version you are. So how are you supposed to make that transition? Like we mentioned, transformative change happens at the level of identity. So for you to be able to figure out what the next improved version of yourself is, you need to be, first of all, look into and examine the current version that you are. Mostly you're familiar with the current version that you are. The problem will be when you want to figure out what values that you want to incorporate so that you make that transition to the next improved version of yourself. So in order for you to make that transition from the current version of yourself to the adjacent improved version of yourself along the path of progression, first of all, you need to assign value to the improved version of yourself. And mostly you will have an idea of what characters you want to develop, because mostly it's characters that maybe you're insecure about, or characters that you lack, or things that you have just general fear around. Those are good signifiers of things that you need to work on. So once you've already established that, what you need to do now is you need to at least create a character and then live by the actions of that character. And what I mean is, like, for you to be able to make that transition, you need to either look up to an idol, someone that you like, someone whose work ethic, or someone whose character that you admire, or it can be a fictional character. You just need to be able to create a character like that, and then you just need to be able to just imitate or follow their actions. And when you're doing that, I don't want you to be thinking that you're being fake or whatever. You're just incorporating characters that you like from people that you admire. It's simple like that. So anytime you feel like you're being drawn to your old self, or you're reverting back to your old ways, I want you to remember that currently you're not yourself. You know what I mean? And I want you to ask yourself, what would that character do? And then you just live by those actions. And if you feel like you're being fake or you're being pretentious, I want you to remember that you're not faking it, or you're not being pretentious. You're just being selective and calling out the traits that are well suited for achieving the goals that you desire. So you're basically kind of trading, right? You're trading your current version of yourself for the improved version of yourself. And when you're making that trade, I want you to be able to develop curiosity and excitement towards being the improved version of yourself, while you simultaneously, this is the key part, while you simultaneously become indifferent to the behaviors, interests, and attitudes of your current self. So you're basically making that trade and you're kind of committing to it. So those are the 3 core values of this channel. And I did not share this just for the sake of knowledge. Okay, I want you to go out there and use it. It's not just for mental stimulation. All right, that's not what we're doing here. We live by what we know. Understand, that was the mistake that I was making first. I thought just because I knew something that was enough. No, you are you. Identity, who you are, is how you live. In your life is your habits, right? It's not your knowledge. So make that distinction. So I hope whatever works for me works for you. I don't think I'm reinventing the wheel. I just think, I'm just sharing my anecdotal experiences. What works for me, and I hope it works for you. So yeah, focus out. If you stay focused, you ain't gotta get focused.